Hi guys, I am on 9.1 in your student practice book, page P169. We are doing line plots still. These are fairly straightforward, so let's get to it. So the first thing that we need to do is you have your little chart over off onto the side where it is 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4. Then you fill it in from our list. Sorry, it says a clerk in a health food store makes bags of trail mix. The amount of trail mix in each bag is listed below. So 1/4, 1/4, 3/4, 1/2, 1/4, 3/4. And then the second line, 3/4, 3/4, 1/2, 1/4, 1/2, 1/2. And you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of a 1/4, 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of a 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of 3/4. Okay, so that's where we're at to start this mess off. Number 1, they already did for you the combined weight of the 1/4 bags. Well, that is 4 times 1/4, which leads to 4/4, and 4 divided by 4 is 1, right? So number 2, let's go over to that. The combined weight of the 1/2 pound bags. So we have 4 1/2 pound bags. We multiply it by 1/2. 4 times 1 is 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Number 3, the combined weight of the 3/4 pound bags. So we have 4 3/4 pound bags. 4 times 3/4. 4 times 3 is 12/4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Number 4, what is the combined weight of all of them? So we have 1 pound with the 1/4 pounders, 2 pounds with the 1/2 pounders, and 3 pounds with the 3/4 pounders. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6. So we have 6 pounds total. Number 5, what is the average amount of trail mix per bag? That is the 6 divided by how many bags we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6 divided by 12, or 6/12. Can we divide 6 into 12? Yes, we can. So let's divide out a 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. There we go. So we're at 1/2. Second half of the problems. Julie uses crystals to make a bracelet. The lengths of the crystals are shown below. Okay, do. 3/8, 1/2, 5/8, and 3/4. Okay, I'm going to put in my X's with my pen again. So I have 1/2, 5/8, 3/4. 1/2, 3/8, 1/2, 3/4. Then I have 3/8, 3/4, 5/8, 1/2, 3/8, 5/8, 3/4. Now, let me count just to make sure that I have all of my marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, I have all 14 marks. Good. Just double checking because that is a lot of marks. And it would really be bad if we were missing some of them or we were trying to solve these problems. Number 6. What is the combined length of the 1/2 inch crystals? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 1/2 inch. So 4 times 1/2. 4 times 1 is 4/2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Number 7. Slightly different color, only slightly. What is the combined length of the 5/8 inch crystals? I have 3 5/8 inch times 5/8. 3 times 5 is 15 over 8. And so I'm just going to leave it as 15/8. What is the total length of all of the crystals on the belt? Okay, so in order to do that, I need to actually, give me a second. Okay, so we have the ones for the 1/2 and for the 5/8. So we need the ones for the 3/8 and for the 3/4. We don't have those yet. So we have 3 times the 3/8. 3 times 3 is 9 over 8. And then over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 times the 3/4. 4 times 3 is equal to 12 over 4. What is 12 divided by 4? 3. So our totals for number 8 are 9/8 plus 2 plus 15/8 plus 3. Those are our totals, okay? Now, 8s and 8s are already common denominators, so I just need to add the 9 plus the 15. I'm going to do that up here. 15 plus 9, so that I have more room to mess around with. 5 plus 9 is 14. 1 plus 1 is 2, so we end up with 24 over 8. What is 24 divided by 8? 3. And then I have plus the 2, which was the whole number, plus the 3, which was the other whole number. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So we end up with this entire thing being equal to 8. And then number 9, what is the average length? It ends up being 8 divided by, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Divided by 14, which is the same as 8 over 14. And I can take out a 2. So divided by the 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So 4/7 inches is the average of how long each particular bead is. Okay, back page, P170. Pause it if you need to. I am moving on to a new piece of paper. Back talk. A baker uses different amounts of salt when she bakes loaves of bread, depending upon which recipe she is following. The amount of salt called for in each recipe is shown on this line plot. Based upon the line plot, how many recipes call for more than 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt? So when you're doing a line plot, it always goes in order. So if you look at the one that's still showing up on the screen because it hasn't decided to put it onto a blank one yet, we know that 3/8 is smaller than 1/2 is small. Okay, so 3/8 is the smallest, then 1/2, then 5/8, then 3/4. Am I gonna have to? All right, just a second, let me fix this. Which means that just by looking at the chart, you know that we're not looking for 1/8. 1/8 is smaller than 1/4. You know that we're not looking for 1/4 because it says it has to be more than 1/4. So we're counting the number of X's that are to the right of it. So we're counting the number of x's over 3/8 as well as the number of x's over 1/2. And we get 6. So number 1 is 6. Number 2, what is the average amount of salt called for in each recipe? Okay, so we're back to doing this. I have 4 that call for 1/8. So 4 times 1 is 4 over 8. I have 4. Really? I have 4 that call for 1/4. 4 times 1 is 4 over 4. I have 4 that call for 3/8. 4 times 3 is 12 over 8. And I have 2 that call for 1/2. 2 times 1 is 2 over 2. So I have a 4/8, 4/4, 12/8, and 2 over 2. I'm going to rewrite these a little bit, just a teensy tiny bit, so that it makes it easier for us to work with. Okay, so 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1. So I'm going to leave the 4/8 the way that it is right now. I'm going to leave the 12/8 the way that it is. You see how these both have an 8 on the bottom? So I'm just going to leave them the way they are. We're just dealing with it. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I now have 1 plus 1, and then 4/8 plus 12/8. I have it in 2 separate columns, and we're cool like that. We can totally do this. This has the same denominator, so I'm going to add the numerators. 4 plus 12. 4 plus 2 is 6. 1. All of this goes over 8. What is 16 divided by 8? 2. So 1 plus 1 is 2, plus the 2 from this side, which gives us a 4. So there is an average of, no, there's not. We're not there yet. That is how much total salt we're talking about. We're talking about 4 total salt. Now we need to figure out what the average is. So I need to count how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 4 divided by 14, which is the same as 4 over 14. I can take out a 2 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So we have 2/7 of a teaspoon of salt is our average. That's what we would normally end up with. That's what all of these ones use on average. Okay, number 3. Ramona had 8 3/8 inches of ribbon. She used 2½ inches for an art project. How many inches of ribbon does she have left? Find the difference in simplest form. So we start with 8 3/8, and then we subtract 2 1/2. We cannot do it the way that it is currently because it does not have common denominators. Can I make 2 into an 8? Yes, I can. What times 2 is equal to 8? 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 1 times 4 is 4. So I have 4/8. And now I have 3/8 and 4/8. Can I take 4 from 3? No. So I need to borrow, changing the 8 into a 7. And adding on 8 over 8. Because remember, anything divided by itself is equal to 1. Okay. So 3 plus 8 is 11 over 8. And then this one just comes over, 4 over 8. So I'm going to subtract this, and I'm going to subtract this. I got two things I'm subtracting. All right? They're both part of the same problem. I'm just subtracting them. I'm going to subtract the fractions first. Numerators get subtracted. Top numbers get subtracted. Bottom number stays the same. 11 minus 4 is 7 over 8. 7 minus 2 is 5. So our full number altogether is 5 and 7/8. That's the whole thing altogether. Number 4, Ben bought half a pound of cheese for 3 sandwiches. If he puts the same amount of cheese on each sandwich, how much cheese will each sandwich get? Okay. So we have half a pound of cheese and we're dividing it up among 3 sandwiches. We need to rewrite this. The half stays the same. The division becomes multiplication. The 3 flips. Becomes 1/3. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. So 1/6 of a pound of cheese will go on to each of these sandwiches. Number 5. What is 92 and 583 thousandths rounded to the nearest tenth? So the nearest tenth is right here. That's the tenth. So the 5 goes and knocks on the neighbor's door. The 8 says, go up, and it becomes 92 and 6/10. Number 6, in Yoshi's garden, 3/4 of the flowers are tulips. Of the tulips, 2/3 are yellow. What fraction of the flowers in Yoshi's garden are yellow tulips? Okay, so we end up with number 6, 3/4 are tulips, times 2/3, which are yellow. So 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. Then we are going to, ooh, can I take 6 out of 12? Yes, I can. So let's do that. Divided by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So half the flowers in Yoshi's garden are yellow tulips. Okay? That's it for this section. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.